What's good, Pokehood? In today's video, I'm going to go over the PSA grading scale as well as how I grade my cards before sending them out to PSA. So stay tuned.
Hey, I'm Veronica Taylor. I'm here with Justin. And so I wanted to tell you from myself and Ash Ketchum, Justin is the greatest Pokemon master in the world. Subscribe to Pokehood and you can find out.
Alright, so you pull your chase card from your favorite set. For example, you pull the Umbreon VMAX Altart from Evolving Skies. And you're feeling awesome, and you're feeling happy. But now you're thinking, should I grade this card? It's packed fresh, straight into a sleeve and a top loader. You know, I could definitely get a PSA 10 or a Gem grade, right? Well, not necessarily. This thought has been through the minds of many people who, pull these amazing cards and want to either grade to sell it or cement a memory of the pull, or just because it's an awesome card. But if you're thinking of sending it to get graded, you should definitely know how to inspect your card so you can maximize the potential for your card to get that coveted Gem Mint 10. And so that's why I'm making this video. So, I can show the criteria for PSA's grading scale, as well as show examples through recent eBay sold listings, as well as real life card inspections. But before we begin, let's announce the winner of the giveaway for the last video, who will get these 3 Pikachus. We got Pikachu from Jungle, we got Birthday Pikachu, and we got Pikachu from base sets. So, who is going to win this giveaway? Well, I am going to do a random comment picker. Alright, so we have here my last video, Insane PSA Graded Pokemon Returns. If you haven't watched that, go and watch it. It's a great video. Shows some amazing cards that got returned. Yeah, so here I'm going to get the URL link, and then I'm going to go to here. I have comment picker for YouTube. I just googled this. As you can see, there's nothing wrong. I'm going to refresh this just so nothing's there. All right, so I'm going to enter the URL, and I'm going to start. Oh, oops, get comments. All right, now let's go ahead and start. And the winner is Robin Paris with a comment. Shiny Charizard is nice. So there you go. You are the winner of the last video. You will win these 3 Pikachus plus your choice of 2 packs of the selection from the last video. So I will leave a pin on your comment, and we can go from there on how for me to give you your the cards. All right, for this video's giveaway. First of all, since my last couple of videos have been getting a lot of comments and I got a lot of new subscribers, I want to first say thank you. It really helps get my content out to more viewers and to grow the channel. And I really appreciate all your support. So with that, for this video, I will have a giveaway for 3 lucky winners. The first winner, let's go ahead and switch back to my camera. The first winner will get this set of the Galarian Bird Trio: Moltres, Articuno, and Zapdos. And your choice, actually, 2 random packs. 2 random packs. The next winner will get this set of amazing rares. I have a lot of amazing rares, and I gave a set out from 2 videos ago. Now I'm giving out another set. So the winner will get these 3 plus 2 random packs. And the last winner will get the Pikachu V Union set plus 2 random packs. Alright, so in order for you to enter the giveaway, make sure you leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, turn notifications on, and comment down below. Do you have a certain card you want to send out to get graded? If so, let me know what it is. Alright, so let's get started. Alright, first of all, if you're not familiar with PSA, here's the website, psacard.com. PSA stands for Professional Sports Authenticator. PSA is, I would say, the most well-known grading service. You have PSA, you have Beckett, and you have CGC in that order. And PSA, is the most well-known. They have a lot more in their pop reports for graded cards. And yeah, then that's why, I go through them. They're kind of like the standard when it comes to grading cards. Not to say that the other two aren't, on par. One could be good for the other, or the other could be better than the other. It's all a matter of opinion and your preference. This video, I'm gonna go over the PSA grading scale, and let's first look at their grading scale. So on their website, here we have the card grading tab for numerical gradings. It's a scale from 10 all the way to 1. But yeah, so it goes from Gem 10 all the way to PR1 or Poor 1. So first, let's go on to PR1. And I'm going to switch over to my PowerPoint. So PSA Grade 1, PR1 or Poor. Defects may have advanced to such a serious stage that the card's eye appeal has completely vanished. May also be missing 1 or 2 small pieces / corners and may exhibit major creasing. In addition, extreme discoloration or even dirtiness might make it even difficult to simply identify the issue. So this is how PSA does their criteria for the PR1 or Poor grade. And to get that into context and to get an example, here I'm going to get into this last eBay sold listing for a PSA 1 Charizard. Here is the last sold listing. The winning bid was for $1,738, so that's still pretty high for a PSA 1, but it is a first edition Charizard. So if I scroll over, so here you can definitely see how this got a PSA 1. There are 2 creases, multiple creases actually, you just can't see it. There's peeling, there's scratches, there's a whole bunch of things going on here. Discoloration, the corners, the edges, everything is really just off about this card. And if we go to the back, this is even more. You can definitely see right there. You can see the foil part of the card. It's showing from the back side. So if you have a card like this, it's going to be a PSA 1. No doubt about it. Yeah, so there's a lot of defects, and this is it doesn't pass the eye test, and which is what PSA does look for. Does it pass the eye test for what a PSA or what a really good looking card could be, or a mint card? And it definitely doesn't. So this is a PSA 1. Next, let's go on to PSA Grade 2. Corners will show accelerated rounding and surface wear. It's obvious. Might also be several creases on the card, as well as scratching, scuffing, light staining, or even chipping on the obverse. Original glass might be completely gone, may also show considerable discoloration. Centering must be approximately 90-10 or better on the front and back. And you might be wondering, what does 90-10 mean? What does centering mean? We can kind of go over that later when we look at some real life cards. And so here, let's go on to the example for what the PSA 2 looks like. So we have here a listing that ended. This one sold for about yeah, 2100 PSA 2. So you can see there. You might be wondering, well, this looks considerably better than the PSA 1. Why is this just a PSA 2? But you can see right there in the middle, right under the wing of Charizard, there is that big crease across. Pictures also, yeah, there's also another crease or dent right there. And when you look at this card, you can't really tell if there's surface scratches, but for a PSA 2, there's definitely going to be some scratches on there on the hollow foil. But look at the back. There's definitely some. You can definitely see the crease again. So the crease is across the whole card, and that will definitely knock it down a lot. And yeah, so this is a PSA 2. This is an example of what it will look like. All right, so let's go on to a PSA 3. Very good. Cards reveal some rounding of the corners, although nothing extreme. Some surface wear is evident, as well as light scuffing and or scratches. Focus may be somewhat off register, and much of the card's original gloss may be lost. Other elements that may lead to a grade of very good 3 includes a slight stain may be showing on the obverse, as well as wax staining on the reverse. Starting must be approximately 90-10 or better on the front and back. So let's go to an example. All right, here. This price was actually, this is still listed for 4,500. Hasn't sold yet. So this is what it looks like. So the picture might see, oh, okay, doesn't look that bad. But right there on the bottom right, there is that, I would say that's a scratch across the yellow border. So it's gonna take off some of the color on there. Another one on the little edge there. And you can see it's faint, but there are some scratches that you can see from the picture. And let's look at the back. So the back will definitely take a look. Yeah, as you can see right there on the top edge, there's, I would count at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 particular points of whitening, as well as the right corner and even the bottom. You can see there are multiple whitening spots. So this will definitely, lower the grade of the card. So there might be a slight stain, which we saw, and there's light scuffing. The scuffing is what we're seeing right there. That's scuffing. So this is a example of a PSA 3. All right, so let's go on to the next grade. PSA Grade 4, VG to EX4, or very good to excellent. Corners may be slightly rounded and surface wear is noticeable. The card may show light scuffing or scratches with some original gloss still intact. Borders may be slightly off-white and light creasing visible. Centering must be 85-15 or better on the front and 90-10 or better on the back. And so you have that verbiage again. Centering must be 85-15 or 90-10. But right here, corners may be slightly rounded and surface wear is noticeable. So let's go on to an example. So this one did sell for 3,600 PSA 4. So let's hover. Okay, so when you look at it, okay, so on the bottom left, you can see right there, there's the little flap of the corner is a little up. That means there's a little dent or crease right there. The scratches aren't apparent. So let's go at the back. Okay, so the back, you can definitely see the edges are scuffed. Same with the PSA 3. And even on the right side of the edge, the bottom right corner, bottom left corner, yeah, all sides have the scuffing. So that's what prompted for this PSA Grade 4. It definitely looks way better than the PSA 3. It's just it was on all 4 sides, so that's what caused it. So that is an example of a PSA 4. Now let's go PSA Grade 5. EX5 or Excellent. Minor rounding of the corners is becoming evident. Surface wear or printing defects are more visible. There may be minor chipping on the edges. Loss of original gloss will also be more apparent. Focus of picture may be slightly out of register. Several light scratches may be visible upon close inspection but don't detract from the appeal of the card. Card may show some off-whiteness of borders. Centering must be 85-15 or better on the front and 90-10 or better on the back. So let's look at an example. So this one did sell, sold for its best offer, so it's definitely less than 5,000. This one has a couple more pictures, which is good, so let's take a look. On the front looks pretty good. So what I would say is happening are scratches on the hollow pattern. You can kind of see it in the picture on the top of Charger's wing under the name. I can see those scratches, probably print lines as well. So the front looks pretty good. So let's look at the back. And as you can see, yeah, there is definite edge whitening on the card. So the fact that there was only minor scratches on the front and it's just the back side that is making this card have a grade of 5. It's all that edge where the corners have a lot of whitening. So this is an extreme example of whitening. Yep, so this is an example of a PSA 5. So let's go on to the next. PSA Grade 6. Excellent to mint. May have visible surface wear or printing defect which does not detract from its overall appeal. A very slight scratch may be detected only upon close inspection. Corners may have slightly graduated fraying and picture focus may be slightly out of register. Card may show some loss of its original gloss, may have minor wax stain on the reverse, may exhibit very slight notching on edges, and may also show some off-whiteness on borders. Centering must be 80-20 or better on the front and 90-10 or better on the reverse. So let's take a look. This one sold for $46.50. PSA 6 first edition Hollow Charizard. This one looks a lot cleaner. So yeah, as you get onto the 5s and 6s to 7s, it looks like all the damage that will detract from the grade will be on the back. If it's on the front, you'll definitely get a lower grade because this is the eye test. You want the front of the card to look the best. So 5 and above, you're definitely having a nicer or cleaner look on the front. So let's look at the back. And as you can see, yep, we have corners, some peeling actually. It's not as bad as the PSA 5 corners. And you might be wondering, hey, the PSA 3 had a really good back. Why did it get a bad grade? Well, it was the front. The front had a lot of scratches on it and deterred from the eye appeal. So this one, PSA 6. Is a PSA 6 example. All right, so let's go on to the next grade. PSA Grade 7. So PSA Grade near mint. Showing slight surface wear visible only upon close inspection. There may be slight fraying on some corners. Picture focus may be slightly out of register, although a minor printing blemish is acceptable. Slight wax staining is acceptable on the back of the card only. Most of the original gloss is retained. Centering must be approximately 70-30, 75-25 or better on the front and 90-10 or better on the reverse. Alright, we have this one hasn't sold yet. The listing is for $21,999.99. They're rare thick stamp. Okay, let's take a look. Right here, the front looks really good. As you can see, looks very clean. So remember, anything PSA 5 and above, the front has to look exceptional or very minor scratches because or else it won't get a high grade like that. It'll get a lower grade. So let's look at the back. The back is where the damage should be. Yep, and we see here on the top edges, we have the whitening. Very minor on the bottom, just like 1 or 2, about 4 or 5. A little bit on the left edge as well. The right side, the right edges look alright. But yep, here you could definitely see the damage. But as you can see, the front looks pretty flawless. Looks really nice. Maybe like one scratch or something on the surface. So there's an example of a PSA Grade 7. Now we're getting on to the really good grades. PSA Grade 8, near mint to mint. Appears mint 9 at first glance, but upon closer inspection can exhibit one or more of the following: a very slight wax stain on the reverse, slightest fraying at one or two corners, a minor printing imperfection and or slightly off-white borders. Centering must be approximately 65-35 or 70-30 or better on the front and 90-10 or better on the reverse. So this one has ended. This one sold for best offer under 14,000 for first edition Shadowless Charizard. Okay, so again, the front's gonna look really nice, really clean, but you can see here the centering. So when they say centering, you can see the yellow borders is a lot thicker than the left and right yellow borders. So that's what it means by the centering. So here's an example of it being bottom heavy compared to the left, right, and top. Then we have the backside. Close inspection, looking pretty mint, near mint at least, but there are some slight fraying right there on the bottom left corner. You see that little whitening spot. You have a little bit of edge wear on the top. It's very slight. It's just like if you were to like skim it across like clothes, something like that. That's what give that effect. Also on the right side, you can see bottom right, there's some whitening specks on the edges. Even on the card, if you look to the bottom left of the Pokeball, but above the MON and TM, those three dots, that is considered a defect, and that shouldn't be there. So that would definitely cause the grade of the card to be lower. Yep, so this is a PSA 8. First glance, looks like a very mint card, but you have to closely inspect it to find the imperfections which would decrease the grade. Alright, let's go on to the grades you really want. PSA Grade 9, Mint 9. Exhibits only one of the following minor flaws: a very slight wax stain on the reverse, a minor printing imperfection or slightly off white borders. Centering must be approximately 60-40 to 65-35 or better on the front and 90-10 or better on the reverse. Let's go to an example. This one the listing was ended by the seller because the item was sold. Okay, let's see what it sold for. 19,000 for a PSA 10. No, PSA 9. Sorry about that. So let's take a look. The picture quality is a little dark, but you can take a look and looks pretty well centered. No surface flaws that I see. Let's look at the back. And as you can see, this card is looking pretty minty. The only thing I can see would be the centering. If you look at the top blue border, it's a lot thicker than the right border and a little bit than the left. So that's what's going to cause. I can also see a little bit of whitening on the top left corner, if you can see that. And also, I'm not sure if that's on the case, but there's a little speck of whitening right there. And right there as well. On the very left edge, above the left bottom corner, you can see a little bit of whitening there. So those minor things can definitely make a big impact on the grade of the card. So Mint 9, it's still a great grade. This is what you want. PSA 9 or the Holy Grail. Let's go on to the next. PSA Grade 10 or Gem Mint. Virtually a perfect card. From its 4 sharp corners and no creasing to its sharp focus and full original gloss intact, free of any staining, though allowances are made for slight printing imperfections if they don't impair the card's overall appeal. Image must be centered on the card within a tolerance not to exceed 55-45 to 60-40% on the front and 75-25% on the reverse. So let's look at an example. So this one has a listing for 399,999 GBP, which is approximately about $500,000. So that's crazy. All right, so if you look at the card, it's flawless. You don't see anything wrong with it. The centering has a little bit top heavy, but remember the scale does say that it does give allowances for the grade. Yep, I can't really see any whitening at all. There's going to be no scratches, creases, slight coloring or anything like that. It's going to be a virtually flawless card. So this is what you definitely want. This is the holy grail. All right, so that is the PSA grade scale and the criteria for how they made that scale. Now let's go on to how I grade my cards, specifically using the tools and certain tools and what. So let's go back to the camera. Let me show you a couple tools that I use to grade my cards. First of all, I have here what's called a jeweler's loop. So it's pretty nice. So it's like a little magnifying glass. So example, here's my Umbreon, and you want to look at the card, right? You're like, oh, okay, is there something on the back of the card? Let's look. So you would use the jeweler's loop to inspect like the corners. Like right there, you can like really take a look if something is off. You can inspect the edges. So yeah, so that is a jeweler's loop. You can find this on Amazon. I use the 30 times scope. So this one, it came in a like, it was like $5 on Amazon. Pretty neat tool if you want to if you're like nearsighted or farsighted, you can't really see up close that well. This magnifying glass will definitely help with that. The next tool that I use is a pretty cool one. It is a card centering tool, and this one I also found on Amazon. It gives you an overlay you can put on top of your card. So let's find the card. So we have here a hippopotamus, and if you look at the back, this is the borders. So if you overlay it underneath the card centering tool, you're going to see that it lines up. So if you look at this very closely, there we go, you can see that the number on the left side, there is it's on par of the 3 solid line, and on the bottom very close to the 3 as well. So there's that. And so if you find that it's a 3 and a 3, then you go to your centering percentages, which PSA does have in their criteria. You can see different numbers like 80-20 or something like that. Here, the 3-3 that we saw, the 3- solid line, is a 50-50, which means it's pretty much perfect centering. And yeah, so how about a card that is not perfect centering? Well, let's take a look at a few examples. Let's actually take a look at my Umbreon, because this one, at first glance, you could definitely see it's not centered. So let's take a look. So the thickness is going to be on the top part compared to the left side. So what we're going to is use that as the main portion to focus on. So right there, it's going to be at the 5. And then on the left side, it's going to be at the 2. So a 5 on the top side, and a 2 on the left side. So what does that mean? Let's look at the centering percentage. A 5-2 is a 71-29. So it's like a 70-30. So it's definitely not the greatest, but it's not the worst. So what was the criteria for the centering for a PSA 9 or 10? Let's go back to the scale. At the back, the reverse side has to be 75-25. So we are at the 71-29. So it's not going to make it to a PSA 10, unfortunately. It's going to be a Yeah, it's gonna be PSA 9 because they allow for 90-10 and we're at a 70-30. So there is that. Let's take a look at some other cards. So you pull a card pack fresh and you're like, wow, okay, this card is really nice. So I pulled this card pack fresh from Evolving Skies, and let me take it out of the sleeve here. So first glance, it looks flawless, right? Look at that card, it's beautiful. Frostlass gold card. But when you look closely, what do you see? You see it, right? Right there is a hole. What is that? Well, this is how the card came out of the pack. And if you look at the back, right there. So not sure how this happened, but there was something that made it crease across the whole card. So even though it's packed fresh and you put it right into the sleeve, it's still not always going to be a mint card because of those minor things that can happen while the card is in the pack. You never know. You can get lucky or you can't. So that's an example of a really nice card, but it's not going to be a good grade. So now let's take a look at various card backs. So here are a lot of card backs. You can see that one of these cards is not, or two of these cards not like the others. So one is light, one is dark, one is light, one is sort of light, one is dark, one is light then light. So that's going to make a big difference when you get your cards graded. You want to look at the coloring. Is it off colored? Is it not colored enough? Is it too light? And then you got to look at the edges, the corners. So right here, there's a whole bunch of scuffs. Something's peeling. Whole bunch of whitening. So this one, for example, this is a shoulder from Fossil. The front looks really nice. You can see there is a whatever that is. So that's gonna hinder the grade, but it's definitely gonna be right there. These corner edges, it's peeling. It's probably gonna be a PSA 5, 6 at the best because the surface on the front is actually, if you caught that, that's a crease. Crease would automatically deduct it even more. So this would be a 3, 2 or 3 because 1, 2 or 3. It can hit one of those depending on, but I don't think it's gonna be a 1. The card is still pretty, like, it feels nice. It's still clean enough. You just have the minor flaws right there and the crease. So there's that. Let's take a look at a really, really bad card. I think it is this Pidgeotto from base set. First glance, so it looks pretty nice, right? But then you look closer inspection, you can see that it definitely has some wear and tear. There's some slight bends there. There's a vertical or horizontal slash, some whatever smudges that is, and also on the back there's a name on the card, Mitchell. This card belonged to Mitchell, and probably wrote his name because this was his card. But sometimes, you might find a card on TCG Player and you're like, wow, that card looks pretty nice. They send you the card and then all of a sudden you see the name or something else written on the card, and that automatically brings it to like a 1 because it alters the card completely. It detracts from the original eye appeal of the card. Not to mention all the whitening and edge wear as well. So yeah, when you grade your cards, make sure that you take a look at, first of all, is the centering good? So here, we did measure this card before. This is a Hippopotamus. This is a very well-centered card, 50-50. You take a look at the card itself, the corners. You can see a slight little whitening right there, but that is on the actual edge, right on the actual edge, so it's not going to detract it too much. If you take a look at the corners, pretty crisp. So if you were to send this card to PSA, you definitely get a PSA 10. But remember, do you want to grade this card? You got to ask yourself that question. You know, if a card is worth grading, you got to ask a lot of questions. And you have a lot of tools at your disposal. You have a jeweler's loop to look for the minor imperfections of the card, like the edges. It can help you determine that. Then you have the card centering tool. There's that. And you also have your number one tool, your eyes. Your eyes. Those are your number one tool. You're going to use that to determine whether or not you should get your card graded. Alright, so I know this is kind of a long video, but I kind of wanted to show everyone, you know, how I look at my cards, how my thought process is when I send cards in, because, you know, you definitely want to get really good grades, like, for example, the PSA 10 Shiny Charizard from my previous grading video. Got the Gem in 10, and then there's an example of my other ones. We got a PSA 9, and the main reason, you take a look here, is the whitening right there. That's what's gonna ding it. So you gotta figure out what's on the card and how to determine whether or not you should get it graded. So there it is. That's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to enter the giveaway. Leave a like. Comment down below which card you want to get graded that you pulled yourself. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.